Okay, and of course the obligatory Beltane film the setup for the winter solstice, full moon solstice 2016 recording, which we've just completed. It was a bit touch and go. Look at the sky. Bit cast. Yeah, bit cast. Reports of rain this afternoon. I mean, you would think that after 19 years or so since the last full moon solstice and 3 glorious days of sunshine since we've been in Nelson, it could have just stayed fucking sunny for the next 2 days, but no. But it hasn't stopped us from doing what we came here to do and enjoying it. So let's see what we enjoyed. We enjoyed this equipment here. So we've got some quite different things to show and tell today. We do. First of all, we'll do the same old. Of course, we've got the E, and we've got the Digitech. Beffy's using the bass amp plug-in who lead as usual, and I'm using the metal Vox plug-in today. But everything else is rather different. Oh, same old tuner. Okay. This here is our speaker system. This is Grandpop's old ghetto blaster. We put some batteries in it, 6 D-size alkaline batteries in fact. Got a pretty good deal on them. Did see some cheaper batteries afterwards, but they weren't alkaline. Took it up here, gave it a right royal thrashing. So using a cassette adapter inside there just to feed the audio into the cassette port, and that was just a simple matter of feeding out the headphone jack of the sound card, so that made set up real easy. So you've just got your USB line out into there, the mini jack, and then the left and right for the guitar. And well, I can't really say bass, can I? Because we came down to Nelson, we travelled light, we used some of my instruments that have already been in Nelson, they've already been stashed here, so Beffy learnt to play the song on the guitar rather than the bass. And the final product, we're going to pitch shift the guitar down to the bass frequencies, so it will simulate a bass. Done it before, works pretty well. So she used my BC Rich Warlock, as you can see here. And one of the reasons for that was that I've got a Mannix Warlock copy back home in Shannon, which she used for the rehearsals, so she'd be sort of reasonably familiar with the sort of shape of the guitar and stuff. Although completely different neck and pickups and whatnot, but you know, this is obviously better. But it's good to have a nice guitar in Nelson, you know. But I used this old Hona. This was one of the last guitars I picked up while I was living in Nelson from Cash Converters. And as you can see, it's only got 4 strings on it. And the reason for that is that the song we recorded last winter solstice when we went to Castle Point, well, not the song we recorded, but the additional song that I wrote at Castle Point, which is the song we recorded today, was written on the Pentatune guitar, my mini gap, because that's what I take to Castle Point for space considerations as well. So therefore in Nelson, if I was going to record it, I had to record it on a Pentatune guitar, so hence I set up the Hona, because it already had a couple of missing strings. I set it up for Pentatune, so we're tuned G, D, A, E, or more strictly G flat, D flat, A flat, E flat, because we always tune down a half tone, and it did the job really nicely. I actually chose to use the bottom 4 positions for the strings rather than the top 4, because it meant that when I was playing one of the chords in the song, I only had to hold a half bar for frickin' ages rather than a whole bar, and it really saved the muscles in my hand. So yeah, deliberately done it like that. Otherwise I probably would have gone from the E string position and done the 4 that way. It's a bit of a twisty tie there so that these unused tuners don't rattle, because they do, they resonate. So that's pretty good explanation of the instrumentation. Not much else really. Oh, the pick. This is actually from the warehouse in Palmerston North. Yeah, I bought some guitar picks from the fucking warehouse. Who would have thought, eh? In fact, I bought them there just because I saw them there and I could. In fact, they were actually reduced to clear too. So I used a, you know, it's the big winter solstice, the big full moon solstice. You know, it's not going to happen for another umpteen years. But so what do I use? A pick from the warehouse. And as for the strings, well, they were whatever old strings were lying around in the BC Rich's case. Luckily, there were quite a few because I actually forgot to bring some backup strings with me. Yeah, so much for the setup. That's about it really, I guess. I better back up this data and save it. Bought Storm's Wii inverter, but it's still in the car because we didn't need to use any of the backup gear today. We seldom do, but you know, it's always good to have it. And obviously we didn't bring down our big orange case and stuff, so our sort of casing and stuff's very different today. The only thing I brought down was this toolbox and one tiny cardboard box smaller than that of gear, plus the E. So that's why we're using this, because we sort of got this in Nelson and just got a banana box under here with a bit of old shelving on top to set the gear on. Borrowed a tarp off Dad. It's folded like this so that if the weather did decide to start to piss down, I could quickly just flick it over all the gear and protect it while we deal with it. Yeah. But it didn't rain. It didn't fucking rain. So that is just fucking awesome. And there's the SEM. I suppose before I run out of film, because I am running out on this card, I should say a bit about why we chose this particular spot. Oh, nice autumn tints, even though winter starts officially tomorrow at 10:35 AM. This is the front of the cemetery. We haven't done a lot in the front. You know, last time we recorded up near the back, near the monument and the crypts. We kind of wanted to do something at the front. We wanted a quite secluded place, a place that we could have actually pitched a tent to if it had been raining, because we would have come up here come hell or high water, you know. But also because around this area was where we used to stash the cemetery tape deck. Back in the old days of the Nelsonian black metal scene, we had a little Walkman and a set of speakers that we used to hide in a click-clack bin in a grave somewhere near here. I can't remember which grave it was now, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you, but honestly, I can't remember. So, somewhere in these front graves, we used to have it. And we'd come up here of a night with a Burzum tape or maybe Cradle of Filth, but usually it was Burzum, and we would thrash out stuff on this little tape deck, you know, because it was black metal, so this tinny little tape deck just kind of hit the spot really, because we didn't leave tapes up here, only the deck itself. But it was kind of cool. Ran off a couple of lantern batteries, so in many ways that was the precursor to Beltane in a funny play out way rather than a recording way, or Beltane setting up. We often still use lantern batteries to run some of the gear. So that's why we chose the front here. Basically, that was a good reason and worked out really well. So I guess that's about it really. That's all I'd need to say. Oh, did I say about the lighthouse? Had some good views of the lighthouse too, actually, as it happens. But again, it won't resolve on camera. But through that tree, about where I'm pointing, there's the Nelson Lighthouse out there in the haven. So yeah, there we go. Winter Solstice 2016, Winter Solstice Eve, Full Moon Solstice. Yep. Okay, there you go. Solstice Candle 2016 is lit.
Yeah. That's good.
What kind of phone's that one?
That's not a phone, that's a camera.
Oh, camera. Oh.
Look at that, and with
Alright, so there we go. Solstice
one
Candle.
match I lit.
Put the light out and see what happens.
North Road, yeah, put the light out.
Sure. Lights out.
And the other light, there we go.
Oh,
Check
yeah.
it out.
There we
Back to
go.
the old days.
Careful.
No, you don't need to shut the door.
No, should I shut the curtain?
There we go. Okay, well that's what a candle looks like, yes. As you can see, a candle is not very bright. That's one candle power.
Yeah.
A candle is not very bright. So you can see why in the old days they had lots of candles around when they were eating and stuff.